Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be looking at what are their hidden thoughts and secret feelings about you and the connection. There are three groups to choose from. Group one is the Larvikite, along with this group of cards. Group two is the Fluorite, along with this group of cards. And group three is the Rose Quartz, along with this group of cards. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend doing so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I have just read for and to tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and then we will get into your messages. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Larvikite along with this group of cards, which I will start with to get an idea about what are this person's hidden thoughts and secret feelings about you and the connection. So we've got the Hanged Man, Death, the Sun, Starry Night, Acceptance, River, Movement, Dreams, Violet, Attract, and Maka, earth. So this person is giving a lot of thought to an ending that has occurred between the both of you with this death card. They are maybe looking at a decision that was made to walk away from you, from the connection. Maybe a window of opportunity that at one point presented itself to them, but because of other circumstances in their life, maybe some fears that were holding them back with the Hanged Man, another relationship that they were in, other responsibilities that they felt they had to live up to, or a particular path maybe that they were pursuing, something in terms of their career or school to where they thought the connection or love in general might be a distraction. And so they could have chosen to kind of walk away from you, push this away, not seize that moment, seize that opportunity. And it's something where this is definitely not an out of sight, out of mind situation. This person is still feeling that they can't really recognize a way forward, although with that death energy, that also encompasses this concept of rebirth and renewal, and with the sun, this hope that this person has that in the future, the situation between you can change. The sun is a card of courage as well. So if fears, maybe with the Hanged Man, had been holding this person back, fears of commitment, fears of intimacy, fears of what others around them might think of the connection because of the nature of your circumstances, some kind of a difference between you in terms of age, culture, background, your goals, your dreams, your lifestyles that could have caused this person to kind of move in the opposite direction of where they were being called to, not following in alignment with what their heart was really telling them to open up, to move forward to this, but someone who chose to move in another direction instead. There's this sense of regret with that, the sense of, wanting to face these fears within themselves, maybe during this kind of liminal period of time with this death energy and the Hanged Man, where there's not a lot happening in the 3D sense in this situation. There's a lot happening beneath the surface with this person, something that they are really recognizing about themselves, how maybe even this tendency toward fear or wanting to people please or fit into a certain mold or live up to others' expectations, how this has really kind of cost them other opportunities in addition to this connection, for really kind of that personal fulfillment. Maybe that could even apply to what they've chosen to do for a living, a particular course of study, what they've chosen to focus on, a life they've chosen to kind of construct for themselves, friends that they surround themselves with, different aspects of lifestyle choices that in some way might have kind of a limited amount of fulfillment for them, but there's this sense, this door that is open, this suggestion that is there that in some way just kind of the connection, the energy, the intensity between the both of you was almost just like the tip of this iceberg. It was almost this portal to a whole new type of experience, a new way of stepping into that authenticity of really kind of generating more fulfilling experiences for themselves in this lifetime that really beckoned them, but at the same time then this fear kind of held them back. With this energy of violet, I'm kind of drawn to this idea of a shy violet. So this person, although they are kind of seeing you as this wish fulfillment, there's this desire for renewal, rebirth, moving towards you, kind of liberating themselves from whatever is kind of holding them back, these chains or these bindings. Maybe even something like a particular course of study where they've chosen something, they've committed to something, and there's a certain timeline that needs to play out. So also with that energy of the Hanged Man, it's almost like they can't really speed up this process. If it's a course of study, there's only so quickly you can fast track that degree. There's only so many classes you can take at one point in time, and maybe it's something where they chose to go to school at a very long distance from you, and that kind of created this obstacle or wedge or barrier in the connection. And so while they're going through the motions of that, trying to kind of meet those milestones, milestones and have those accomplishments, do what they need to do to kind of finish what they started. There's also this sense of sort of looking toward the future, wanting that courage to be able to open that door, to step through that precipice again when circumstances present themselves, when they are somehow freed or something else completes in their life, and they have the opportunity or the time or ability to, be able to pursue this connection further, to be able to invest more fully in this connection. But there still is a little bit of almost somebody being shy, not really being sure how to approach you. Somebody who, if they kind of had a fear of intimacy, a fear of love, a fear of connection, they might not be so good at putting words to their feelings. And so while there's this desire, it's a very fragile energy here. There's a part of this person that, despite whatever confidence also they may exude, in terms of a really big personality, or somebody who, seems to have the world in their hands, somebody who, has accomplished a lot, has achieved a lot as well, is maybe, putting in a lot of effort and doing well even in a particular course of study, something very technical, or something that, is very kind of advanced, or is requiring a certain level of skill, and kind of the success and notoriety that they're having in that way, in that capacity. A lot of that, it seems to be some kind of a mask, that this person, it's like this armor that they are wearing that is protecting this very soft body within them. It's kind of like this hard exterior, this very, almost overly confident shell that they're presenting, being almost a little too driven, a little too assertive, a little too goal-oriented, not allowing time to really sit back in that mode of receptivity. Somebody who hasn't invested a lot of time or energy in kind of understanding their feelings, understanding how to communicate, maybe a more tender side of themselves. And this is something where this connection is also, it's really giving them that courage to sort of open that door, to let you into that soft and tender space within them that few have ventured into before, or, that they might be very protective of, or they could have been really hurt in the past, and this has caused them to, still be harboring some wounds and some tenderness within them. With this starry night, this is really, again, kind of feeling like this energy of, the situation at this point in time between you. It might be something where there's not really this opportunity quite yet to generate any change. This can be something where, it's this energy almost of kind of standing on the earth and looking up to the stars. It's a very remote access. It's something that, is not able to be reached out and necessarily grasped, but must just be observed from afar. So this person could really be watching you from afar, maybe watching you on social media, or just thinking back a lot on what happened in the past, a choice that was made with some regret, some melancholy, at not having chosen to move in the direction of love, in the direction of this connection. And kind of their actions or words or choices creating more distance between the both of you, a greater distance that they must travel then in order to really get back to that starting point with you, get back to that place where renewal and regeneration in this situation is possible. This can also really, with this starry night, allude to somebody who might be in kind of a dark night of the soul, that whatever they have surrounded themselves with, whatever choices they have made, they're starting to kind of really see beyond the illusions of that, even some success that they may have garnered for themselves, and kind of that pinnacle that they have reached. And it's something where there's something that feels like it's missing almost, that victory is not as sweet as it could have been. There's this sense of having left or given up something that was of more importance than, say, material success or accolades in that regard. And so there's something here with this, this kind of this energy of sort of looking back, looking at the past, looking at the ways in which their life has kind of carried them, or even just energetically based on the choices that they've made. They've been carried further away from this sense of home, this sense of belonging, this sense of sanctuary that they felt with you. With river here in this reference to movement, this again is suggesting that there might be some time and distance that needs to pass, or that they need to traverse in order to kind of get back to that starting point. This doesn't feel like something where they can very immediately make any kind of change, direct any kind of action towards you. If this is fears that was holding this person back in the past, it's going to take some time to kind of step into that light, step into that courage. kind of neutralize that energy of shyness or uncertainty within them, so that they are able to, apply that confidence that they may have in other ways to this aspect of love that they might not be so confident about. They might not have as much expertise in. The intensity and the nature of what they're feeling for you could be very intimidating for this person. This could be somebody who's also not used to being intimidated by others, so that could really kind of catch them off guard, the intensity of this. This is also really with this River card here, this is bringing to mind almost like this idea of past lives, the continuity of the journey of your souls together through the course of time, through many lifetimes, through kind of this ebb and flow, this winding energy. And so that can kind of lead into this concept of a very, very much overwhelm that this person may experience, the sensation of familiarity or deja vu with you, this sense of closeness, even, when you might not know each other very well, or that they felt almost very immediately too, this urge to kind of open up in ways that may have been very unusual or out of character for this person. And it feels like something that could have caused those kind of alarm bells of fear to sort of creep up within them. Kind of this urge to open the doors of their heart and let you in, maybe very quickly or again very immediately, and sort of the ego mind kind of cluing them in that to do that, there's this inner sanctum that this person has cultivated, and maybe reminding them of times in the past when they let people in, and that's kind of resulted in a sense of disappointment. But it does seem that some evolution is happening in that, with this reference to movement. Again, somebody who's really working up the courage, trying to neutralize those barriers of fear, and also in terms of kind of that past life connection, and just this sense of familiarity and kind of deja vu, how that might have been very outside of kind of the wheelhouse of what this person typically focuses on. This could be somebody who is very, with this earth energy, very grounded in the material world, a very practical person, a very logically minded person, somebody who relies strongly on empirical evidence, and so kind of this aspect of intuition, or maybe the subtle realms, even, somebody who previously hadn't thought about anything outside of a linear existence, birth, life, death, and really thought of nothing beyond that, perhaps some kind of an afterlife, but was very just focused on, this very finite and forward momentum in terms of a lifespan, or in terms of their life. And so all kinds of new questions or possibilities have opened up as far as who they have been before in conjunction with you, who they may become in the future, how the choices that they make, or things that they, choose not to act upon in this life, how that kind of can shape and mold other potentials that open up, lessons that they're learning, interactions that they have with people, and that being of a greater significance, both to, teach kind of what love is and what love is not in varying degrees and in varying kind of faces and facets. And so all of these things could have been questions that, again, this person, maybe because of whatever they were focusing on, they felt just very overwhelmed, not prepared to deal with. These are things that they had avoided looking at, or had just not been in their conscious awareness prior to encountering you. Whether or not these are things you discussed with them, it feels definitely something at a soul level was activated in this person through being in proximity with you, with the sun and this idea of this illumination, this ascension energy, this enlightenment, or even spiritual awakening that may have really, even a kundalini awakening with kind of that fiery energy that may have really been generated in this person, that kind of added to a layer of almost stress and confusion, or just provided like a wider path of questions that they, felt the need, even by pulling away, needing this time and space to really seek out those answers, to find the significance of that, the relevance of that, to try to get some kind of a handle on that, or in some way accommodate or adjust to kind of this widened perspective, and all of this kind of a new perception of energy and their relation to others, and kind of their role in life, the role of others in their life, the role of, why they met you, what the purpose of this all is, where to go from there, how to really, take this very intense spiritual connection and make that into something very practical in the material world. With dreams, this can talk about somebody who is meeting up with you a lot in dreams. You may remember meeting up with them, or this can be something where where, this is kind of happening just energetically, but I feel that, some of the time at least the two of you are definitely recalling that you have encountered one another. And this might be kind of resurrecting after a period of time where, you've tried to move on. Maybe you haven't really felt this person energetically for a while, and all of a sudden there's been this uptick, this surge of like these signs and kind of these meetings with them in that dream plane, in the astral plane. This can also talk about somebody who again is kind of in that energy of forward facing at this point in time, looking toward that renewal, this desire that they have to change the circumstances between the both of you, not wanting to remain stuck, realizing that on some level the energetic bond between the both of you won't allow for that. As they're moving through life, as much as they're trying to kind of push this connection away, you are with them nevertheless. At times when they try to kind of stuff down or suppress kind of the memories, or focusing too much on this connection, on you, that can be when this kind of dream contact surfaces, both messages from their subconscious, calling their attention to things that might have been triggered, calling their attention to sort of these memories, so that this energy, this bond, this very unique kind of interaction between the two of you in this lifetime can be addressed more fully. It feels that there's something to be gained from that. There's a reason behind all of this kind of perspective in life as this person knew it before. It has ceased to exist, and that has given way to kind of a wider definition of what is possible for them. And so this person could really be struggling to kind of contain themselves, to focus just again on that very kind of practical and logical minded energy, this empirical energy, but there's this surge coming from their subconscious and down from their higher self that is prompting them to kind of widen their scope of attention. And so again, you could be dreaming about them a lot. They're definitely dreaming about you. And this can also really talk about dreaming of that point in the future when your paths will cross again, or other things will kind of wrap up in this person's life, and they have that almost that freedom of movement to make their way back to you. This can also be somebody that, if there aren't outside circumstances that are, kind of keeping them at a distance, some other kind of a relationship or some other kind of obligation. This can also be somebody who is, really dreaming of stepping into that courage with this reference to movement, who is, kind of working through that process of slowly stepping into that place where, they're operating out of the energy of trust, the energy of love, willing to experience what this connection has to offer. Trusting that whatever occurs, both the kind of the good and the bad experiences between you, are things that are opportunities for teaching. This is an opportunity of love. This is an opportunity presented by the universe for a very specific reason, and those reasons might not necessarily be apparent to this person immediately or at this time, but it's something to where they're really dreaming of that, of kind of recreating that window of opportunity and making a different choice to move toward this connection, possibly even dreaming of what a future could look like with you. And with this earth energy here, this is definitely, this kind of the sensations that are coming, maybe showing up a lot for this person in terms of signs and synchronicities in their day-to-day existence, that again is bringing that kind of that focus back to you, that focus back to the connection. Definitely not out of sight, out of mind, although with this kind of this imagery here of sort of this wide open field and this mountain, there might be again these challenges or this distance between the both of you. Time and space might be a factor now as well. It could have been some time has passed, or kind of for every day that passes, they get a little further and further away from kind of that crossroads. It gets a little more difficult to try and retrace their steps. There's a little more fear that kind of creeps up, or it is at least at the peripheral of their awareness that there are going to be some obstacles and some kind of boundaries, I feel, primarily within themselves, that they're going to have to cross in order to kind of see what lies on the other side of that. There's this kind of suggestion of potential, something more beyond what they're just able to see and perceive, and there's a curiosity that's there. They keep being drawn back to that, kind of like what's on the other side of that, sort of this idea of looking almost above at this vastness of what is possible, ways in which they can kind of get around these obstacles, navigate around or over or even through. So somebody who's in this energy of strategizing, and kind of this patience energy, this quiet energy, where, you know, there's definitely something, at least energetically, that is stirring within them, that is kind of being this new seed within them, or kind of the seed that they had sort of pushed aside, this seed of connection, of attraction between the both of you. It's starting to change form. It's starting to take shape in a new way, and in a certain capacity, it almost feels like whatever this is that occurred between you, this period of separation, or this choice this person made to kind of walk away, or push this away, or create this ending to this situation. It was definitely very necessary to create that kind of space, that opportunity for, you know, that seed that was awakened between the both of you, this energy that was discovered and that is felt and that is still very tangible, for that to be able to be digested and to take form, for this person to kind of widen their scope of perspective in other ways, a shift and a change happening internally within this person, in their outside world, somebody who's making plans and preparations, so that almost an evolved version of them, somebody with a deeper understanding of self, kind of a wider scope of what they feel is sort of their purpose in life, or even the dynamic between the both of you, kind of at this future point, sort of around the bend, at this kind of undetermined location further down the road when the two of you meet. It'll be under very different circumstances, and a lot having really shifted and morphed within this person. A lot of kind of upgrades, or a maturation, or some kind of a reimagining happening between them. A lot of obstacles of fear and hesitation, and maybe feelings of not being, you know, good enough or worthy, or kind of these fears of commitment, fears of love. These things are very necessary to be addressed and to be kind of neutralized within this person, so that they can move into this empowered energy, to be able to really appreciate the gift that this connection offers, and to be able to not just receive that energy, but provide it back in a very kind of practical and beneficial way for the both of you. So in terms of signs with these cards right here, with the Hanged Man, that is Pisces energy, Death is Scorpio, and the Sun is Leo. And also with this reference to Earth, that can definitely be, you know, Earth energy, Earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And with Starry Night, I'm really feeling the star, which is Aquarius. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now. Group 1, what do they want to say? Okay, this is a great confirmation. I dream of you. So we had dreams, and there you go. So you're definitely meeting up with each other in the astral plane. This person dreaming of a future about you, dreaming of the times spent together, the good times, wanting to kind of shift and change whatever is going on in this dynamic. Somebody who's dreaming of a time when they have freed themselves maybe from other obligations or situations, and really have this ability to give this connection more of their full attention and investment than they had previously. And they also say this separation will soon be over. So there's a sense of timing here, and other things needing to play out. This person recognizing kind of these mountains, these challenges, these obstacles that are in place. Somebody who's really strategizing, or again, in some way, maybe waiting for the clock to run out on certain things, maybe an obligation, something they've committed to that really it's a very organic process. There's no way to kind of speed that up. It's kind of a lesson in patience at this point in time. But this person really looking for that, at that horizon, for that opportunity when they can make a different choice in this connection than they had previously. And they also say, I am working on it. So again, really facing those fears, recognizing the obstacles, the challenges, the blocks, even that fear or other things that they chose to prioritize had presented. The sense of, you know, being on top of the mountain, so to speak, even in terms of other things that they were working toward, but that victory not being as sweet. This person may be kind of feeling a lack of soul sustenance from sort of the environment or the people that they are around, what they have focused on up to this point, what they've built for themselves, and there's a sense of really wanting something more, and this person kind of strategizing, working out, thinking about this very quietly, sort of these ideas taking shape, taking hold, little signs or inspirations that's really kind of guiding this person along that path of personal transformation that then can ripple out into transform results between you in this connection. Okay, and they also say, my pride and ego led us astray. So this can talk about that energy of somebody who almost overcompensates, somebody who may have really kind of presented themselves as a very big personality, and that being kind of a mask for this very tender inner world that this person was, not very confident in, not confident in themselves, not really, sure that they were ready or able to trust in love fully. Somebody who was really questioning kind of this inclination that they had in the past to explore this connection further, to trust and to open up to love. They also say, I'm afraid it's too late to turn around and make it right. So that was coming up with this concept of this distance, and kind of every day that passes, it becomes a little more difficult to undo the choices that they had made. The further that they continue down a path, down a road, or stay in a situation or a circumstance or even a mindset that doesn't really resonate with them. Now that they've had this hint, this taste, they've had this, they've kind of peeked beyond the veil, so to speak, of a life that could be more fulfilling for them, something that really resonates with them at a soul level. And kind of the closer that they get to taking action, the more vehemently their ego or these fears within them are kind of, calling in all the troops, so to speak, and really maybe creating a sense of panic, a sense of anxiety within this person, that desperate clinging almost to keep this person in their comfort zone, right at that precipice of change. It's almost like, work in a certain level and an eternal level that was done has taken this person very far, from the point of choice to this realization that, they want something different, that even that realization that they may not have, made the best choice. It was something based on fear, but that there's another option out there. And that really being, a major milestone event for this person, kind of that shift within themselves. And now that they're right at that last leg of the journey, where now all that's required is just taking that leap of faith, that's the point when that ego and that fear really mounts that defense, trying to kind of cling to this comfort zone. As much as that's not fulfilling, it is what is known. And so this person might be kind of filled with the sense of panic at this point in time, that it's too little too late. They've kind of missed the boat. It was a single window of opportunity with that energy almost of death, that, there's obviously no way to recreate what you had before in its entirety. It's definitely a situation where there's going to be, things that shift, things that change. It's going to show up a little differently, based on the experiences that you two have had together since that kind of initial point of connection, that initial spark. It's not necessarily, like a doom and gloom, all is lost, but it's just something that, it's going to have to take into account those disappointments. It's going to have to, make concessions for those things. There's going to have to be this element of trust that is rebuilt, this courage and exceeding kind of personal boundaries that's required by this person, in order to really create that velocity that is necessary to alter their trajectory back towards you. And so it's something where it's almost like these fears and these alarm bells, they are increasing exponentially for this person as kind of this subconscious almost also inclination that they are right at that precipice of change. They almost have this road figured out, the route figured out, a way to make things right, or to start working toward that. It's right at the brink of discovery or action for them. And so, it's something where there's almost this nervous excitement about taking that leap of faith. And they also say, I wasn't ready for what you were offering. So this can talk about that intensity of the connection, the spark. Something about this was definitely outside of this person's comfort zone, or their awareness of what love and connection could be. This can also talk about, other obligations, things they were invested in, a road that they were headed down, that, kind of meeting you and everything that sort of came with that. It really almost felt threatening that it was going to set this person off course. And so they chose to maybe cling to whatever they had mapped out for themselves as kind of this logical and very linear future. And sort of the further away they are getting there, they have this energy of almost looking back back, of reflecting on the fact that they are, kind of propelling themselves further and further from that sense of sanctuary, that sense of comfort, that sense of acceptance that they felt even energetically with you in the bond between you. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit now for you, Group 1, about this situation. Okay, and we have open to love, relationships, passion, fulfillment. So you're really being guided at this point in time to address any kind of lingering doubts or disturbances in the heart space, that whatever has happened with this person, this rejection, maybe some feelings of unrequited love that have caused you to kind of close down or become a little pessimistic that change is possible, or maybe even sort of questioning your instinct and your intuition when it comes to love, a feeling of, you felt so much for this person, but then, it didn't go according to your plan. And so, really questioning even your lovability, any way that this has really compromised your self-esteem. Just as this person is in this preparation mode, needing to address these fears and these blocks within themselves, there's something that's mirrored here for you, some kind of a fear of inadequacy that this might have triggered, some kind of, again, fear of rejection, mistrusting your intuition, calling into question your heart, almost feeling that you were kind of led on this wild goose chase with this person, or sort of led astray by opening yourself up, maybe feeling kind of foolish, or that you were just sort of wrapped up in fantasy, which to a certain degree, it definitely seems that there needed to be an evolution here. There was something that, for whatever reason, it's not by accident that your paths have diverged, that the energy you were both carrying, maybe some aspects of yourself that were dormant that needed to be unlocked, wounds that needed to be healed. All of these things needed to be done on these separate paths before the two of you could energetically really make the most of this very unique bond and be able to sustain that connection in a way that was stable and for the long term. So kind of trying to work through even forgiving this person, forgiving yourself, kind of alleviating any blocks that you have within you, so that you can restore a sense of hope that, this person can make these changes that are necessary and the two of you can have a fresh start. Hope that, if this person chooses not to kind of continue on this path, or allows these obstacles and barriers to kind of get the best of them, trust that that's not the end of the story for you as far as love. The work that you're doing on yourself will call in somebody who resonates at that vibration for you, who is able to give you love in a healthy manner, who is able to receive what you have to offer with open arms as well. And we also have Puffin, partnership. Accept yourself and your colorful personality. Feel confident about being you. You are a joy bringer. Let your community nourish and protect you. Ask for help. Teamwork will give you the best results. So that is also some beautiful guidance from Spirit with this reference to partnership. At this point in time, you may need to reach out to, friends or other people in your community. Maybe if you resonate as a twin flame, you can kind of share stories or find some camaraderie with others within that community. Maybe even watching tarot readings is giving you some kind of some kind of answers, or is kind of directing you, guiding you on that path to self, that journey of self-love, which is definitely a crucial first step in being able to experience reciprocal and healthy love, high-level love from others. And so at this time, there's no accident as to why you two ended up in this situation, you and this person, this distance between the both of you, kind of this internal work that you're doing individually. You're very much mirroring each other in this. It may show up in different forms, but it feels like the same kind of archetypes of wounds or pain within yourselves that you're needing to work on in order to achieve that sense of wholeness, that sense of authenticity, that sense of self-acceptance and self-love, so that further down the road when you two meet again, that you're able to really recognize and appreciate each other on a deeper level, kind of give and receive that energy exchange in a way that might not have been possible, kind of at the level of consciousness and evolution that you were both operating at previously. This can also really talk about, again, if this person for whatever reason chooses not to, continue down this road, chooses to kind of remain in that stuck energy of living a life that no longer resonates, and just kind of looking out with longing at what else they could experience, what else they could have, but they choose not to take any action to kind of bring that to them, which they have that ability. Everybody has free will. Just because we see the answers, we know the path, doesn't mean that everybody necessarily makes that choice or remains dedicated to walking that, to seeing that through to completion, or to the understanding that there is almost no end destination, that evolution is kind of a perpetual process once you fully engage in that. But it's something where you can make that decision for yourself. You do have the free will ability and the ability to influence the choices that you make. And by investing in self, by focusing on self, prioritizing self, coming to a state of wholeness and acceptance and love within yourself, you do raise your frequency, you raise your vibration, you emanate that out, and you're able to then call in others of that resonant vibration, whether this is friends, whether this is another romantic partner, somebody who can see and appreciate the very unique being that you are and is able to reciprocate that. This is definitely reassurance that love is on the horizon for you. There is a partner who will make you feel seen and understood, who you will find comfort and sanctuary in their presence, who will both challenge and uplift you through this process of personal growth and transformation, and who is receptive to you performing that same function for them. It may or may not be this person that you're watching the reading for, but nevertheless, that should not deter you. That should not be, kind of the condition to which you choose to invest in self. Investing in self for self is the greatest gift. That is the purpose of it. And kind of the return of this person, or the arrival of a new and compatible high-level soulmate further down the road, is kind of that icing on the cake. The reward in and of itself being kind of that sense of wholeness and that sense of self-awareness, that alignment with your path and your purpose, creating an abundance mindset within yourself in order to really attract abundant circumstances to you. And again, the right people in the right circumstances will magnetize to you in the time that they are meant to further down the road. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 1, this could be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got J, K, R, L, D, G, B, N, and Y. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the Fluorite along with these cards, which I will start with to get a feel for what are their hidden thoughts and secret feelings about you in the connection. So we have the Knight of Wands, Ten of Wands, Ace of Swords, Owl Spirit, Wisdom, Stone People, Vigilance, Earth Connection, Cattail, Build, and Unki, Grandmother. So with the Ten of Wands and the Knight of Wands, this feels like somebody who has a lot of hidden feelings for you, a lot of suppressed desires, a lot of attraction that they may have not really expressed fully before. Maybe this is somebody who didn't seize the window of opportunity that you presented to them, that to really act upon these feelings, to really express themselves. This could be somebody who, you know, maybe was kind of in your sort of like a casual acquaintance or a friend, somebody you work with, where there was a lot of chemistry. There was just this very tangible energy of attraction between the both of you. But this person just never really took that next step. Or if you had kind of presented that cup of love to them, had kind of extended your energy, you know, flirted with them, they could have been somebody who just really held back a lot. Almost with this Stone People, just kind of presented this very closed exterior or shut down when the prospect of intimacy or kind of moving the connection to the next level presented itself. With this image of the heart here on this Earth Connection card, this is definitely, again, speaking for these very profound and deep feelings that this person has for you, that they keep within themselves, they hide within themselves. With kind of this image of the tree, this really speaks to someone who may even look at you as kind of that wish fulfillment, somebody that they could see themselves building a life with, somebody that they see sharing a lot in common with them energetically in terms of their goals, somebody that they experience a lot of compatibility and harmony with. There's a sense here as well of a certain degree of peace that you give to this person, but for whatever reason they have held back in the past from really expressing that to you. With this energy of cattails and them being plants that grow, you know, usually in pretty big clusters around sort of a marshy or a watery area. This brings to mind just this, again, this profound volume of feelings that they have for you, this depth and breadth of feelings that they have withheld, that really could have contributed to sort of that very palpable energy that you experienced with them. This sense of, you know, there being something more, of somehow great potential existing there in this connection beyond the parameters of however you were both experiencing each other previously. And this feels like something that, you know, maybe distance now is a factor with the two of you. If this was something where you worked together at one point in time, maybe one or both of you have switched jobs, or you've even kind of switched departments, and so there's not that kind of that constant interaction or that frequent interaction that once was the case. And so this person is almost kind of left with this sense of regret, this wisdom, almost this energy of kind of being at a distance, having to kind of watch you from afar or kind of think back on you with longing at this sort of missed opportunity, a time when they were in close proximity, this desire and this longing to kind of create that closeness again. Somebody who could be really, really harsh on themselves for withholding that truth, for not kind of, you know, taking the chance or the opportunity to really speak some truth to you in the past. This could have also been somebody who really denied their feelings and was acting in direct contrast, in direct opposition to the truth of their heart previously. And so also with stone people, they could be putting on a very kind of cold exterior. At times their energy may feel very cold towards you. If this is somebody who is still kind of in your life, in your world to some degree, you might have recognized kind of a marked shift in them. This warmth that was there, this very, kind of giving energy has now given way to almost this wall coming up from this person where they feel very guarded. They feel like they are kind of withdrawing from you or withholding their energy, maybe not being as chatty, as talkative, not being as friendly with you, maybe trying to avoid you. Maybe, kind of replanning or reformatting what it is that they do, or the ways in which they spoke to you. Kind of this warmth and this familiarity that you may have kind of had in your exchanges before has been replaced with, just kind of very abbreviated speech, or just really sticking to, down to business and kind of the facts, not really getting into kind of into that deeper realm of, or, even wider in terms of their personal life, or really asking about you, or being very engaged when you're talking to them. There could be a sense too of just this distraction within this person that's left you kind of at a loss, really thinking about this, really wondering what happened. And it really feels that beneath and behind this kind of stony exterior that this person is putting on, there's a lot of thought that is going into this, a lot of truth and clarity. This person may be somebody who, because of kind of the nature of their feelings, or just the intensity of this connection, it's something where they may have kind of just needed to pull away and needed some time to process, or a choice that was made to not act upon this or to push this away. Kind of in that silence, in that stillness, there's a lot happening with both the wisdom and also with this grandmother energy, this kind of crone energy, this wise energy, and this imagery here of this, kind of this heightened perspective, looking down on a situation, that this person is, their higher self is really interceding here, also with this Ace of Swords, this truth really coming in, this clarity coming in from the higher self, providing this person with some kind of nudges, or some kind of an answer, or some kind of an urge to step forth to, express what they had held back on before. Perhaps somebody who's also really been kind of clued into some triggers that they may have surrounding love, some wounds surrounding heartbreaks of the past that cause them to kind of hold back from you, or really resist that opportunity to act upon these feelings. There's some wisdom here that they are gaining. There's some kind of insight that is happening with this image here, and this woman with these butterfly wings. Something is transforming within this person, within their awareness. They're starting to recognize how they were almost, in a sense, fearing getting exactly what they had wanted for. Maybe somebody who was really kind of praying or imploring the universe to, send them somebody who would resonate, to kind of heal their heart. Somebody who was really praying for a sense of connection, praying for love, and kind of feeling this experience with you very unexpectedly, something that really might have caught them off guard, or just the nature of the circumstances, maybe again like a work connection, or somebody who was in your friend circle who started to develop feelings for you that were more than friends, but this hesitancy to really express that, to really declare that has now led to this period of confusion, or just kind of this stuck energy between the both of you, that a lot of wisdom is coming in for this person, from kind of their higher self and behind the scenes. They're starting to recognize and kind of look at this situation and look at you from a new perspective, opening up their heart to the idea of love, and love coming in perhaps a very unexpected package from what they had sort of put that intention out for. But again, quite a volume of emotions that they have for you that have continued to build over time. This is definitely not something where, if there was a rejection that happened, somebody that really kind of rebuffed your advances, or didn't really take that opportunity, sees that moment to do anything with this tangible and palpable chemistry, that those feelings have not diminished. They have continued to grow within this person. Ace of Swords can also talk about, in conjunction with these wisdom cards, kind of this clarity that is coming to this person about what needs to be done, or what they must do in order to kind of change these circumstances, to kind of free you both up. Somebody who's very inclined to reveal some kind of truth about these feelings. Somebody who may be almost kind of looking back on love in the past. Somebody who could have feared rushing in too quickly into a loving situation. Somebody who feared really opening up their heart and exposing themselves to disappointment or loss. Somebody also with these kind of these vines that are winding their way around this tree. Somebody who could have dealt with some codependency in the past. Maybe they themselves had codependent tendencies, or they were in a relationship like that, experienced that, and there's almost this fear of wanting to avoid that, not necessarily feeling they were healed or ready to open their heart to love again. But it's something to where they're recognizing again that sort of missed opportunity. This is somebody who is slowly but surely trying to work through these issues within themselves. Somebody who's learning to kind of heal and release these other feelings that might have constricted them or caused them to hold back from you. Recognizing that almost this very unique bond between the both of you, this intensity, this passion, that it's still with them for a reason. It's worth taking a chance on. And somebody who's in the process of kind of transforming that, kind of looking at the circumstances between the both of you with different eyes, with fresh eyes, instead of looking at it like if you're friends, that if the relationship goes wrong, a romantic relationship, then, it's at the expense of the friendship. Instead, transforming into that stance, that mindset of, but what if things go right in this relationship? Then you both have that very firm foundation of friendship that, creates structural integrity in the romance and can help it last moving forward. Or somebody who, if this is a coworker, someone that you work with, who is wondering, not wanting to be the subject of office gossip, or is wondering about, kind of impropriety, or, a non-fraternization policy that your workplace could have. And it's something where, this person is really recognizing that although the source of income is very important, the wealth of the soul holds an even greater value to them. And so they're trying to kind of think and strategize. Maybe there are ways around that. Maybe it would require switching departments, changing roles, moving to another job in order to really make this work, that it's worth exploring. It's worth taking that first step to explore this. It's something that kind of exceeds, and it's beyond sort of these surface level, these very kind of earth-based circumstances between the both of you. This feels very much as well like, again, this wish fulfillment, this prayer that has been answered in the form of this connection that came in a very unexpected package for this person in a very unexpected way. But this is somebody who is kind of gaining that higher perspective on things, that is kind of looking beyond those fears and kind of facing the potential of what could happen, what could go right in this circumstance. And somebody who is kind of in the process of freeing their heart from those limitations, self-imposed or otherwise. Somebody who is in this process of really starting to recognize and honor that they still feel kind of the intensity and the nature of these feelings for you, perhaps after, a period of time, or, after they tried to suppress these things or hold them in, but it's almost, it's growing beyond their capacity to restrain themselves. And so also with this kind of this energy of wisdom, this is somebody who, wants to take almost an earth, like a cautious approach. With the Knight of Wands, that's a very impulsive and fast moving energy. And this is somebody who is, trying to exercise a degree of restraint, and that they might be a little bit unskilled with that, or the intensity and nature of this situation. It's been this reflex almost to completely shut down until they can kind of process this, get a handle on this. And so it really feels like something that whatever you're seeing demonstrated from this person, this cold wall, this icy exterior, it really is just a very concrete fortress that is, it's hiding, or it's keeping obscured from your view this intensity of feelings that they have for you, the volume of feelings that they have for you, this urge that they have to deliver this truth, to move towards you very quickly, but that kind of planning or tact or caution in some way is necessary. This person really wanting to do things right, to build a structure that has integrity to it with you, to not repeat the mistakes of the past in terms of loss and love in conjunction, but somebody who, if they are opening their heart to love, if they are opening their heart to this connection, they want to kind of make sure that they do it right. So somebody who's in this sort of planning stage, listening and receiving that guidance from their higher self, looking back on their previous experiences in love, what might not have worked out, kind of deciphering between fear and, sort of true things that must be taken into consideration. Somebody who's really sifting through and getting to the heart of the matter, kind of leaning in that truth, learning to really trust in that heart space and operate and move into this kind of heart-centered awareness, kind of pushing away or denying the feelings they have for you, only being, kind of minimally successful, and it becoming a burden at this point in time to continue to remain silent. So this feels like somebody who's on this brink of change, maybe on the brink of communication, speaking feelings that have been withheld for a long time, or delivering some kind of a truth to you that's been a long time in the making, a long awaited and kind of a pleasantly awaited experience with this person. So in terms of signs, with the wands, we have fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Swords is air, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And also with this reference to earth, I'm going to call that earth signs, so Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So I'm going to get some messages from this person's higher self for you now. Group 2, what do they want to say? Okay, and they say, my heart is heavy. So that is definitely that 10 of Wands energy right there, this burden that they are carrying around, all these unspoken feelings, this urge to move towards you, to speak their truth, to declare these feelings, to profess their love for you. And it's becoming increasingly difficult to withhold that truth. Somebody who's in that strategizing phase, how to put words to their feelings, what's the proper method of approach. Somebody who's kind of exercising caution, trying to be very grounded in this, to create this symbiosis between the head and the heart here, so that they're not just kind of letting their emotions lead them, or they're not opening up too quickly, or too soon, or in too extreme of a way into this connection, but trying to find some kind of a way to just kind of gradually allow this to unfold, which is feeling very difficult because of the kind of this intense drive and this urge and this attraction that they have towards you. And they also say, please wait for me. So this is confirmation of, whatever sort of a withdrawn energy you feel from this person, coldness, or they might seem kind of distant from you. There's a lot going on beneath the surface and kind of behind that mask, behind that facade, behind that wall. And so it's something where, it can be kind of difficult to, hold on to hope when somebody is giving you kind of signs in the opposite direction. But from their higher self, they're really, there's a lot of pressure, I feel, also on this person to kind of speed up this process, to get to that point of resolution, to create that balance within self and some kind of action forward. This almost feels like somebody who's kind of at the brink of over planning, over strategizing, and at some point they're going to need to just let loose, to just let go, to just say it, put themselves out there. And it's something where they're recognizing also that the longer that it takes, then it opens up the possibility as well that somebody else will come in and love you in all the ways that this person has kind of refrained from doing up to this point. And they also say, you are my empress. So they see you as somebody that they could build a very fulfilling connection with. They definitely see you as kind of the person that they have wished for, that they've prayed for, and that might have caught them quite off guard to actually experience the manifestation of that wish fulfillment in a very specific way, or maybe a little sooner than they had thought, or in a way that more completely and in very intricate and precise ways fit those criteria, those little things that they wanted to experience. There could have been been a degree of intimidation here as well. Intimidated by the intensity of their feelings, intimidated by, you know, the material circumstances around you, and kind of intimidated and a little bit scared as well to step through that door to this next stage in their life, to opening up to love, maybe again for the first time in a while, or just opening up to this intense vibration that they are experiencing with you that may be very much unlike what they have experienced in love in the past. Okay, and they say hurting you was not the plan. So this person is recognizing kind of that confusion, a little bit of upset, maybe a lot of upset that the rejection of you, or, you know, this person really kind of putting up those walls and those barriers, kind of pulling away very suddenly from this flirtatious energy, not acting upon that very palpable chemistry. They're aware of kind of the pain that that has caused. And it's something to where, you know, they feel that, you know, they just didn't see any other way. They didn't see a better way. They weren't comfortable with, you know, expressing to you that they just needed some time and space to figure things out, because to do that would be to reveal more of the, you know, intensity of their feelings than they were prepared at that point in time to do. They also say, you will always have a special place in my heart nobody else can fill. So as this person is thinking back on loves in the past, relationships that they have experienced, the ways in which love has touched their life previously, any kind of fears of maybe repeating some patterns of codependency and some cycles that could have created that hesitation, this need to be overly cautious and to, you know, plan almost to an extreme degree what they want to say, how this situation should unfold, the ways and timing in which they'd allow themselves to open up to this. It's something to where, you know, they're starting to be able in a major way to distinguish between the energy and vibration that the two of you share, the experiences that the two of you have had, who you are as a person, as very much different from what they might have experienced in love in the past. And kind of the more that contrast is becoming apparent, kind of these nudges and these signs, this reassurance that their higher self, or, you know, even passed on loved ones and spirit guides are trying to really instill in this person. It's helping them to move into that place of becoming a little more confident about taking this chance on love, opening themselves up, you know, following that call of their heart. It's this balancing act between the head and the heart here, where, you know, they're of course needing to take in the wisdom from what they've experienced in the past, the disappointments, what to do, what not to do, but then also allowing the heart to really lead them in that space of trust, to opening up to the potential of new experiences, trusting in themselves to, you know, show up differently this time or in this relationship than they had in the past, trusting that, you know, they are at least aware of the things to watch out for, and, you know, trusting that should these things arise, that they have developed some kind of a skill or some kind of even discernment to be able to address these things rather than just allow them to kind of compound and fester in the relationship. And they also say, I regret my past mistakes and wish I could have another chance with you. So that was coming through with this idea of kind of a missed opportunity, somebody who really held back on their feelings and is kind of giving themselves a hard time for that. The more that they are starting to be able to really decipher this as, you know, truly the wish fulfillment, what they have hoped for has been delivered, has been gifted to them by the universe in the form of this connection, in the form of you and the potential that exists there. It's something that is really creating that urge, that impetus to do what they must in order to correct these circumstances, to do what they must in order to create some different results between the both of you. So despite, again, kind of the stony exterior they might be presenting, there's an abundance of love that they have for you, that and feelings and attraction that they have for you that continues to grow with time. It's not something that is diminishing. It's something that's becoming ever increasingly difficult to sort of hold in. So this really feels like somebody kind of on the brink of change, perhaps on the brink of communication, making some kind of a declaration or revelation about words they maybe should have spoken or spoken more completely in the past. So I'm going to get some guidance from Spirit for you now, Group 2, about this situation. Okay, we have whole self-health, natural therapies, balance, Ayurveda. So that's a great confirmation with that kind of reference to balance there. And as much as this person is in this process of really balancing out the head and the heart, trying to come into that place where, they trust in the wisdom that experience has imparted in them, and also learning to lean into that gift of new opportunity that love and this connection specifically is offering them. You're really being guided at this point in time to do some inventory on yourself. In what ways, or maybe your fear of commitment, is that creating any kind of emotional blocks? What kind of fears, maybe even about the concept of opening up to this person should they approach, because of their sort of conduct in the past, or the way in which they held back in the past, really taking the time to kind of sift through and see, has this created any skepticism within you? It's definitely a natural and healthy and appropriate thing to, be vigilant, to have that discernment, especially somebody with whom had displayed kind of this tendency to kind of run or pull away from love in the past. Just as this person is trying to kind of create that balance of not rushing in too soon, too quickly, you're also guided to try to really create that balance within yourself where you're open to a new opportunity. You're open to exploring and experiencing this connection if this person chooses to kind of move forward and speak some kind of truth or declaration to you, but at the same time, honoring the experience that has happened with them up to this point in time, keeping some kind of boundary in place until you're able to establish and kind of build this foundation of trust, until the both of you are comfortable with maybe this new element or aspect of your connection that could be very much outside of kind of the realm of what you've experienced with each other before. This feels like both of you entering into some kind of new territory in terms of even this connection being very different from those in love in the past who may have disappointed the both of you. And so some kind of natural skepticism or triggers might surface, and you're just really being guided to check in with yourself, honor those things, seek to work through these things, and communication even of kind of your comfort zone of what you need for reassurance, what you are expecting, what you are hoping out of this, your long-term goals of this connection, establishing that kind of that dialogue and touching base with each other, touching base with yourselves as often as possible can really help to keep that energy and that flow between you in kind of a healthy and reciprocal manner. Okay, and we also have Squirrel, always prepared. You are the expert of hard work and hard play. Your cheerful and fun disposition is a blessing to everyone. Don't let life's distractions take you off course. Make a plan for the future and life will give you all you need. So that's another beautiful confirmation from Spirit for you, Group 2, that there's definitely, this feels like something that you both have a lot of really intense and deep feelings for each other, but it might need to be something which you're kind of unfolding that gradually, kind of comfort zones within each other, boundaries within each other, needs of each other need to be honored, need to be discussed very openly. Now is definitely the time to kind of do that inventory, almost that energy of the spring cleaning within yourself, to recognize any kind of blocks you have on love, any kind of trust issues you may have with this person, any kind of skepticism that may have grown almost kind of on bordering on distortion, where you could almost be too overly cautious. You might be inclined not to trust in what this person presents, in the ways in which this develops, any ways in which you have kind of called your own intuition into question, or this has really kind of left a sour taste in your mouth, sort of this palpable chemistry, but then nothing really coming from that, kind of the frustration even, or the pressure of sort of holding this knowing within yourself, but not having this confirmation in the 3D, especially if this person is putting on, a very kind of stony exterior, walled off kind of exterior, and not being sure what their feelings are, not, questioning if you've imagined this whole connection. a lot of groundwork at this point in time to restoring yourself to that place of taking the logical mind into account, honoring what you see displayed to you in the material world, but also trusting in what your heart is telling you, trusting when this person comes back that something can be generated out of this, that you do have the ability to build upon this relationship in a new and interesting and different and perhaps even more fulfilling way than you have experienced with each other previously. And this definitely feels as well that kind of this process of this inner inventory, everything that has happened in this situation, it's really given you both time to kind of gain some perspective, to gain some understanding about this. It may have really called up some triggers again as far as kind of like a fear of rejection or actual instances of rejection or unrequited love you might have experienced in the past that caused you both to hold back from this, or that stemmed from one person holding back or not really being willing to participate previously. So a period of time of release, and also kind of gathering up the strength and the courage and the trust that when the door of opportunity is opened by this person or presents itself to you by the universe, that you're both in a space of being very comfortable with yourselves, with what you have experienced in love previously, even the disappointments and the wisdom that has gifted you, and so that you are able to understand your own needs and convey those needs to each other and kind of work to build and sort of unravel the depth and nature of these feelings in a very organic way and at a pace that is comfortable to the both of you. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 2, this can be first, middle, or last name for you or this person, or it can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got L, U, V, B, C, G, R, X, J, and E. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the rose quartz along with these cards, which I will start with to get kind of a feel for what are their hidden thoughts and secret feelings about you in the connection. So we've got the Nine of Cups, Queen of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Foggy Bog, Patience, Winter Solstice, Reflection, Balance, Morel, Regenerate, and Aishinu Tea, Moontime. So this definitely feels like somebody that in a period of silence or separation, maybe an end that has happened in this connection, kind of a dormant period between you, this winter period, this period of rest, some kind of an epiphany has come to this person with the Wheel of Fortune. They have changed their mind about something. They are seeing you from a new light. They are recognizing something about you that they had overlooked before, or maybe even something that they had really denied within themselves, in terms of the importance of love, kind of the need to fill that space in their heart with a companion, or a perception that they could have had of not being ready for love or ready for commitment, or ready for the nature of what the relationship was offering to them, when you both had previously dealt with one another. But that this is really shifted for this person, with this idea of a morel and these mushrooms that just kind of, they come up out of nowhere almost. There's no signs of them on the forest floor, and then all of a sudden one day there they are in full bloom, just kind of sprouting overnight. This feels very spontaneous. Somebody who could have maybe not really seen a future with you, or in some way had kind of projected upon you or said directly to you that you weren't necessarily what they were looking for. They still were kind of searching for something. They had to find themselves even. They, still had a lot of work to do within themselves, or it just wasn't the right time. They weren't ready for love. They weren't ready for, commitment or the nature of this commitment specifically. That they've reached this turning point, this pinnacle with Foggy Bog. Some kind of a clarity has come to this person. Something that they might have been very unsure of before, even with this kind of this yin yang here on this balance card, and this this kind of this polarity of the masculine and feminine energy. I feel that that balance has kind of been achieved within this person. Somebody who has really recognized and addressed some of their fears about love, and has taken some kind of an action to move beyond that, even in the sense of recognizing and owning that they had some wounds in love that might have really kind of operated as an obstacle or a wedge or a barrier to experiencing new love, or kind of the reunion of love, the experience of love that this connection had offered them previously. Some kind of balance, some kind of internal work that has happened within this person that has been able to then help them identify you as maybe a counterpart energy, as kind of the yin to their yang, or the yang to their yin. If you resonate as a twin flame, this person could definitely now see you as that. This may also be something where, kind of independent of anything you might have said, this person could have on their own just really come to this awareness of soulmates or twin flames or kindred spirits, twin souls, any of those kind of terms, those ideas, even if that's not part of their lexicon. This is somebody who feels a deep resonance with you, a sense of satisfaction, a sense of solace that they feel, almost that their heart is safe with you. If this person had kind of a cold and closed off energy to love, maybe stemming through some kind of disappointments in the past. It feels also with this moon time that, this is all some cycles that this person needed to work through, that some illumination has come to this person. They're starting to release what held them back, belief systems, the energy of past partners, or even wounds and disappointments in love that had caused this degree of skepticism, of kind of keeping that cup of love to themselves, being unwilling to offer that, being unwilling to receive the cup of love that you had offered in the past. Somebody who is just kind of overly focused as well, maybe on a particular person that they thought of as their one, and something has come to light about this other person or that situation that, maybe that situation was just intended, the one to teach them a lesson or a particular kind of experience, somebody who was only meant to be with them through, a certain chapter or phase of this person's life. But there is some movement that has occurred beyond that idea, beyond holding so strictly to that concept. Again, either through something that has been seen about this other person or someone from their past that they were really still just stuck on, just ruminating on, or even if it was no one they wanted back, just kind of still very fixated on kind of the wounds of what that other person or that relationship had really inflicted on this person. But in some way they have created some form of deliverance for themselves. Some kind of a realization has happened that they have the power in their hand to, just kind of create some resolution for themselves, even if they, didn't get that apology from that person in the past. Even learning to forgive themselves for the ways in which they had kind of limited their experience or even pushed away wish fulfillment in the form of this connection, out of being so fixated on this particular type of idea surrounding someone else from the past returning, or even a very particular and specific type of partner that they looked at as, being very compatible or the type of person they should be with. With this yin-yang energy, this kind of opposites energy, there could be, circumstances, different things about the both of you that, are very much kind of from the outside in direct contrast, where this person could have really questioned how you could make this work. Somebody who in the past didn't really see a compatibility there, almost felt you were too opposite to truly gel and attract and really make this work with one another. But through that clarity that has come, it's almost this regeneration, this renewal of this love, this refocusing or seeing a different aspect or a different layer or level to this experience, to you, to the significance of meeting you, to the significance of other circumstances more largely in their life, and how those archetypes and even those wounds have helped to shape or, expand or even distort their experiences. So definitely with this winter solstice, this could be kind of a cold period, somebody who might have ghosted you, kind of blocked off communication as well. You might not have heard from this person in a while, and even energetically they felt very distant from you. With this moon time, this feels like a very sacred period of reflection, somebody who has kind of deliberately maybe even kind of deactivated or deleted their social media accounts, somebody who is, really withdrawn into themselves, maybe is not even, socializing with people around them very much in their life, friends or family. This could be, this period of this deep introspection, needing to become very clear about things, some kind of epiphany or awareness that has really sprung up for this person. It's kind of leading to all these other questions that they're in this process of having to kind of work through, a process of coming to terms with things, a process of releasing, so that a new version of this person can be birthed. This is someone who's stepping into that higher version of self, that more self-aware, that balanced version of self. And through this kind of internal work that is taking place, it's creating the seeds of possibility for a change between the two of you in the future. The tangible possibility of creating a new chapter, a new experience, kind of this energy of coming in from out in the cold, this regenerate, this idea of kind of this spring energy, this rebirth energy, following this period of withdrawal, this winter energy where things are very dormant between the both of you. But despite that dormancy, a lot happening behind the scenes, a lot happening internal within this person, to where they are again recognizing you as this wish fulfillment, somebody that, their heart is safe with, that it is safe to love you, it's safe to love again, it's safe to open up to love. This feels also with this, this regeneration, the sense of that there's so much to be experienced, that what they have had in their experience of love up to this point is just a glimmer of what is possible. That if they had experienced a lot of disappointments in love, or a very significant relationship that kind of left some distortions within this person. There's a sense of awareness that is coming into them that that's not all there is, that there's more yet to be written in the story of love for them. There's a different kind of understanding that they have this opportunity to really embark upon. This feels like somebody who has maybe learned a lot up to this point about what love is not, and this connection, this relationship has really presented them that opportunity to kind of build upon that experience and learn what love is. And so they've got that contrast in that opposite direction, this kind of shadowy energy, this energy of disappointment, of uncertainty, of sadness, of pain and regret. And this is almost like, the kind of the other side of that coin, learning through kind of uplifting lessons, learning through building, as opposed to things that are taken away or things that diminish. So somebody who is, through this patience, this is indicating, this kind of process, some time that needs to unfold, kind of this awareness that is coming from this person. It's springing up gradually. It's coming up very organically. It's not something that can necessarily be rushed. There's a sense here as well with this Wheel of Fortune of seasons needing to kind of take place, or this cold energy, this distant, this disconnected energy between the both of you, also with that full moon just being a phase, it being a season. That the tides will turn between the both of you, that things will shift, that this person will, armed with that awareness that they are getting, and kind of that withdrawn and that internal energy, there will come a time for them to kind of bring that out, to present that, to kind of make those changes that are happening within kind of bloom in the outside world in the form of, communication, in the form of some kind of a vindication, some kind of a truth, somebody who is willing to open up their heart to love again, who is kind of preparing themselves and doing that inner work that is necessary to be able to give and receive love in a healthy manner, to be able to contribute to your satisfaction in the same way that they are able to receive satisfaction from you. Somebody who is really, focused on the self-love journey, and by coming into that space of wholeness within themselves, they are then able to, in an appropriate and a more thorough way, they are able to, kind of be that source of fulfillment with another. They are able to almost meet you at a level where they're not coming in with as many sort of hang-ups. They're not coming in with as much baggage. They're kind of releasing a lot of these things so that they can come towards you. They can come toward love with open arms, with an open mind. Their heart, kind of in this process maybe of even sort of purging out a lot of those disappointments, creating that space, that kind of fallow field that is necessary for kind of this spring energy, this rebirth, this renewal, new experiences. Better experiences in love to kind of bloom and blossom in this person's life. So a new chapter definitely seems to be on the horizon in this situation, and this person really thinking about that as well during this kind of reflection and these epiphanies that they are getting, maybe even about the significance of you, of this connection, and kind of other circumstances in their life up to this point that have really almost against their will. It's like they've given their power away to others, or to an experience of the past, and it's led to a little bit of frustration that circumstance or that person still has power over them. In kind of the present moment, by virtue of how they were able to receive love from another, how they were able, or how they may have pushed away the gift of love and contentment that presented itself to them by the universe. So this person kind of in this process of taking their power back, stepping into that place of empowerment and wholeness within themselves, so that they are equipped to kind of turn the page between the both of you, to step forth into the light out of this kind of shadowy energy of reflection and contemplation, armed with kind of a deeper sense of self-awareness, and some better tools to be able to navigate around aspects of themselves that they know have a tendency to be triggered, so that when these things are kind of activated within them, then they've almost got a better series of coping mechanisms or skills to not lean into that fear, but to be able to recognize that for what it is, honor those feelings, and allow and encourage those things to kind of pass naturally, so that there can continue to be this sort of forward momentum into, kind of creating in the material world resonant experiences with this desire within this person, to really experience love in a tangible way that is much different than what they may have experienced previously. So in terms of signs, with the cups, we've got water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Wheel of Fortune for me as a reader is mutable energy, which is Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. So I'm going to get some messages now from this person's higher self. Oh, and with the moon, the reference to the moon also here on this card, I'm going to call that out as the moon in tarot, which would be Pisces and Cancer energy. So I'm going to get messages from this person's higher self for you, group 3, and see what do they want to say. Okay, they say it's not you, it's me. So they are recognizing and taking the time at this point to really address some of these wounds, these triggers, these hang-ups, this baggage within themselves, kind of residue from disappointments of love in the past that have really limited the experience that the two of you have had together previously. This is somebody who, if they may have really projected something onto you that you weren't what they were looking for, that they weren't ready to settle down, this relationship wasn't, fitting their needs and their expectations. It was too different to work. All of that really stemming from this place of fear within themselves, almost this energy of self-sabotage, pushing away that wish fulfillment, because they had become almost so comfortable with dealing with those wounds from the past, comfortable with kind of the existence of these things, or almost with that energy of foggy, this bog, this kind of very dense condition of their heart space, of their mind, kind of this clouded vision that they had of love, this distorted perspective of love that was really kind of inflicted upon this connection. And it's something that they're really, some clarity is coming. They're starting to recognize this. They're starting to release those ideas and notions and kind of transcend that version of self that was closed off or was, overly pessimistic and skeptical of love in the past. And they also say, I want to come back home. So that's that energy of regeneration, this desire for closeness, kind of armed with the wisdom of introspection and self-reflection. There is this sense of kinship that they feel with you, this balance, almost this yin-yang energy, that you both are very complementary, that as much as they may have tried to kind of deny their feelings in the past or sort of deny this very beautiful experience of love that had the potential to grow between the both of you, to kind of push that away, to choose to retreat into that comfort zone of pessimism or kind of clinging to the hope of or idea of maybe somebody else being that one for them, and then to come to that realization in all actuality that they had maybe, the two people had kind of outgrown each other or seeing something. Maybe that bond was almost like a trauma bond, something that had, really been based on kind of deficits within two people and kind of creating that distinction that the part of them that was compelled towards you was this part of them that was yearning for that healing, that was yearning for that nurturing, for that uplifting, for that changed experience, recognizing how, kind of sticking with that pain or maybe a series or an archetype of partners that just kind of led to further disappointments in love. This person really coming into that space within self to recognize that tendency within them, and to want to create change and experiences in a different direction. And they also say, you see my soul. So that's definitely that yin-yang energy, that counterpart energy, that very complementary energy, a sense of knowing that this person may have felt with you very immediately, a sense of sanctuary, a sense of you even really being able on some level to perceive these wounds and distortions within this person and still seeing the best in them, still loving them despite all of that, recognizing that very pure core of this person that may have been kind of diluted or distorted through different experiences that they've had. And this person maybe, had become so accustomed to operating again in that energy of distortion that, the possibility of something different could have been very triggering for them. Not in the sense of anything being wrong with it, but it being something very different to kind of the sensations or the experiences they had become accustomed to and had come to anticipate up to that point of prior to meeting you. Okay, and they say I'm still healing. So that is that energy of kind of that winter time, that fallow time, a lot happening beneath the surface. Sort of these epiphanies and these realizations coming into this person's awareness, somebody who's in the process of kind of facing the shadow aspects of themselves, unearthing the lighter parts, and coming to a place of forgiveness and acceptance, allowing space for both of these faces of themselves to exist within them. Somebody who is coming to terms with maybe the choices they've made in the past, how they've shown up in relationships, how others have maybe even mishandled their heart. And it's kind of a process that is still needing to take place. There is this desire, this forward thinking to a time when they want to create change in the situation, but a feeling also that there's still a lot that needs to be accomplished on the internal plane before they are equipped and ready to have anything of value and substance to offer. They also say you are perfect in my eyes, don't ever change. So that is definitely that energy of the Nine of Cups and the Queen of Cups, this wish fulfillment, this deep satisfaction, kind of everything this person was looking for in all of the best ways. The complete opposite maybe of partners in the past that had really kind of eroded this person's self-esteem or confidence, or had been kind of, these toxic cycles and patterns that they were accustomed to. And somebody who almost maybe had become resistant to healing, had become resistant to happiness, had just sort of complacently come to the point of accepting that, maybe disappointment in love is just kind of the nature of love. And so breaking out of that mindset, kind of expanding that worldview, allowing other belief systems or experiences to go. It's something that could have felt very threatening to this person, almost to the ego mind. Although it was uncomfortable, it was known, it was safe, it was the comfort zone. And change, even if it's change in a good direction, is usually followed or accompanied by some degree of anxiety or uncertainty or questioning. That's kind of the ego, its protective mechanism, trying to keep us in what is predictable, and what the ego has then kind of mapped out sort of the way to survive and to kind of navigate within that terrain. And so anything outside of that, there's all these unknowns about potential, obstacles that could present themselves, potential dangers that could exist there. And so it's almost with this, it's kind of like a form of loving energy that comes from the ego to try and, keep us safe in what is predictable, what we have become accustomed to, what is, within kind of the limits of, again, what is known, what is able to be navigated, what is able to be anticipated. And so it's something where, it's a process of trying to, and actively seeking to kind of differentiate what are true fears, what are true triggers, what are true red flags versus red herrings, or almost like this kind of this energy of anxiety and fear. And so this person really kind of in this process of learning to navigate through these things, learning to navigate what were really their wounds speaking for them, what was kind of this distortion within their heart, this residual pain, or any illusions that they were still clinging to or holding on to that may have really thwarted their ability to recognize and move forward toward and participate in this opportunity for a new love, for a different kind of love, a different experience in love than they may have witnessed or participated in previously. And they also say, I miss you more now that we are apart. I still feel your presence, your energy around me. So that can tie into that concept of soulmates or twin flames, this kind of entangled soul, this entwined soul that may have really kind of propelled this person on this journey of trying to figure out, maybe they pushed you away, closed things off, ghosted you, and why are they still feeling you? Why are you still, permeating their thoughts and their dreams and the energy around them? Why are they seeing signs and synchronicities? This could have really sent them on that quest, that exploration, receiving signs, asking for guidance from their higher self, maybe even also with that kind of that energy of the morel and these little mushrooms sort of springing up all around them all of a sudden, these little breadcrumbs that are kind of coming into their awareness, articles or videos or even tarot readings, things that they've come across, concepts like twin flame, soulmate, kindred spirit, counterpart, twin soul, any number of these ideas can really have provided this person with some resonance and with some answers. And it's this process of, still in the midst of that, of getting those answers, finding out who they are at the core of themselves, beyond everything that they have, been through that has distorted them in a particular manner. Kind of excavating that core of truth, sort of who they are beyond all those experiences, and even before all those experiences, finding a way to kind of bring that up to the current times, bring that into the now, allow that to germinate into the version of themselves that they are presenting of the world, and are also able to then present to you in the future in terms of maybe some reconciliation and coming back together, a new chapter in this connection. There's a longing that they have for you, a recognition that they have of this very special bond, this unique bond between the both of you. You bring this sense of balance and healing to them. And so for a lot of you, this is someone who is starting to recognize that what they were pushing away in the form of you in this connection might have actually been that salvation, that healing, that very nurturing and nourishing experience of teaching through positive and loving experiences, where they might have been accustomed to kind of teaching through difficulties and pain, and we're just kind of mistrusting even that anything of value or substance could be learned or experienced through kind of the opposite of that. Somebody who might not have even felt very worthy of receiving satisfaction, somebody who might not have felt worthy of healthy and reciprocal love, because they had only really experienced sort of conditional love or toxic versions of what was masquerading or calling itself love in the past. So I'm going to get some guidance for you now, group 3, about this situation. Okay, so we have upskill, work, career, crossroads. So this is definitely talking about kind of that internal work that this person is doing, that balancing of the light and shadow aspects of themselves, kind of looking back with neutrality and fresh eyes about experiences, belief systems that they have had, the ways in which their experiences in love in the past have kind of contorted them or shaped them. And you're being guided at this point in time to kind of follow suit, to do that work on yourself, to take an honest and thorough look about what has love felt like to you in the past? Coming to this place of kind of releasing the expectation of disappointment, or any of kind of the residue that might have been left over from disappointing experiences in love, or people who were operating from kind of energies of distortion themselves, and that kind of inflicted upon you. Any ways in which you might have questioned your, lovability. Maybe you felt, or, people had told you you were too intense, you were too needy, you were too clingy. And, seeking to kind of unpack those things and to recognize, that stemming from a place of, maybe needing to focus on that self-love, cultivating that wholeness within self, filling your own cup first, so that you are able to, kind of self-soothe, self-sustain, so that when love from another is offered, it's just kind of that added bonus. It's not what's necessary to sustain you, but it's something that just further enhances your already abundant experience. Okay, and we have lizard, regeneration. As a survivor, you are unparalleled. No matter what happens, you can adapt. Embrace your transformation. Put on your new cloak. You are a master of regeneration. So that is a double confirmation right there with Morels, where we had regenerate. So this is definitely talking about the future of this connection. There is a possibility, a distinct possibility of a new chapter between the both of you coming back together as two people who have really invested in self. Kind of this idea of shedding your old skin, your old way of being, your old perceptions about love, anything you'd been clinging to or holding on to, or that had, kind of left residue on you, was sort of weighing you down, or in some way distorting your perspective of yourself and of love. Now's really the time to seek to release all of that. even wounds stemming from rejection from this person, and ways in which that may have made you kind of call into question your worthiness and your value. As this person is reflecting on themselves, this is definitely a mirrored experience where, there's some things that might be triggered even by listening to this reading that are coming up for you. Those triggers are pathways to things within yourself that, you would be of great service to yourself, of digging a little deeper into that. Often when we're triggered, we can recoil from that. We can kind of project, try to push that away. And, there's also a different kind of an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into that, to seek to unpack that. What's the root of that? Why was that so, why did that inflame such a reaction? Why did that create something so visceral? What about that was kind of sparked this reaction or this sensation? And to continue to dig deeply within that, there's a certain level of usually the way in which we perceive ourselves, some kind of subconscious belief system often that we don't necessarily want to look at, that it's very difficult to own that we've been carrying this around. This definitely feels like whatever that is, it's a part of you that you're now at the stage of being able to release. In order to release something, you have to fully embrace it. You have to fully recognize it. You have to fully accept that this has been with you in some way, weighing you down or shaping you, drawing in certain experiences, pushing others away. And now is a time for regeneration, a time for rebirth, an opportunity for change is here for you. It's deep work. It can sometimes be very uncomfortable work or painful work, a lot of catharsis that is involved with that, with this watery energy of the moon, a lot of tears that might need to be shed, or things that make you kind of angry, or make you, kind of fill you with a sense of despair, even feeling that it's unfair that you had to experience something, or even a feeling of loss and longing over something that didn't work out as you had wanted it to, or something that is even gone. Some feelings of rejection, of maybe questioning if you are just a repellent energy, and kind of wondering why somebody was not able to recognize and see and make the most of kind of the very pure and loving vibration that you had to give. Any number of things can come up for you, and it's definitely a time to kind of do that shadow work, come to that balance within yourself, own those parts of yourself that you don't want to necessarily recognize, that you try to kind of turn your face from or overcompensate for in other ways, recognizing that those aspects of self are just as important as your more well accepted qualities, kind of the best qualities, the face you like to present, the parts of yourself that experience joy, that create joy for others, that are able to experience abundance and kind of bring that in, creating that sense of balance where recognizing that things are neither black nor white. Two polarities exist and are actually interwoven within everyone and within all experiences, to where it's just kind of a myriad of gray to a large extent, and kind of reshaping and reforming even your understanding of reality, or your dynamic with this person, that kind of the disappointment and the pain and kind of the distortions, the wounds that this person was operating from a stance of, kind of like hurt people, taking that a step further to identify what is some hurt within yourself that may have kind of magnetized in this situation, even vibrationally, to provide some kind of a teaching experience, some kind of portal, some kind of doorway to kind of a chamber or a sack or a packet of hurt and wound that you have been carrying around within yourself. Now is the time to release that, to free yourself from that, to understand you don't have to carry this with you. You can definitely change your course of your life at any point in time. You have the ability to kind of rise out of experiences that might have held you down, people that weren't able to appreciate and see and respond to your value and your worth. That does not diminish from your inherent value and worth. It speaks to wounds and distortions within that person that are theirs to own. They are theirs to work on. Your responsibility is to step into that best version of self, that all-encompassing, loving, balanced version of self, where you're recognizing and you are embracing and owning both your flaws and your attributes. So a beautiful time of balancing that is occurring internally for the two of you, and this can definitely then lead to the potential to create some kind of balance and change in this situation in the future. So I'm going to get some initials for you now. Group 3. This can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got K, F, V, I, B, O, G, S, R, and T. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I also sell handmade jewelry and some divination tools in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.